How did the idea of making a film about Saint Nectarius come about? Did you know about him before?
I heard about him. Actually, I remember hearing about him in Arizona, at the monastery of St. Anthony, the Great, from a friend of mine, and I heard from a few other people, but I didn't know much about him. And then in 2012, when I was visiting Belgrade, after my father had passed away, I went to a monastery where our patriarch Pavle was buried. I wanted to pay respects to him. And after the liturgy, I went to the bookstore and I saw a book about Saint Nectarius, and I thought, oh, this is something I would like to read, and on the way back to Los Angeles. So that's how I discovered this wonderful saint. And not only discovered him, but I felt very, very close to him. I felt extremely, extremely inspired by his story. And in many ways, I felt that I understood him on a very personal level. Some of the reasons were personal, because I could identify with his difficult life, with a life of not belonging. Sometimes they would not even consider him a Greek. I lived in the United States for 18 years. I was an immigrant. It took me 18 years to get my citizenship. I've many times lived just on faith and nothing else, and I understood what that meant. But more importantly, my father, who was a very honorable and a righteous man, was prosecuted, and he was slandered because he was honorable and just, and ended up living a life way below what he... I'm talking about materialistic things right now, which he didn't care about, but he was a civil engineer who lost his job because people in his company had to bring 6 false witnesses to testify against him falsely. And it resulted in him working until the rest of his life in a very small factory. And that's something that probably because my dad had just passed away, and he was, my mind was filled by him, by his presence, and reading about injustice that has been done to Saint Nectarius. That's probably why I was struck as if lightning, and I had this serious connection and urge that I had to make a film about him.
The movie was made with a great actress. What guided you to choose the actress?
Well, like many things in this film, that happened in somewhat miraculous way, I would say. Even choosing actors was very similar. I had certain wishes. Actually, what I would like to say first, I wanted to choose actors that were right for the roles. That means not only they're phenomenal actors, great actors, but that they could portray the part without saying a word, and people would believe that they are the roles they're playing. When I was given a blessing in Arizona by Elder Ephraim from Arizona to do the film, I was asked if only one thing, that I should try to choose an actor who is deeply in faith, preferably Orthodox Christian, to play Saint Nectarius, and they told me if it's God's will, it's going to happen. So that was what they said to me. But to go back to the subject on actors, I was, as a director, and being actor's director, I come from I studied acting in a very prestigious school for actors, directors, and writers in Los Angeles, and I therefore work well with actors, and I understand actors, and to me, it's extremely important to choose the right actor for the role. So that was something that I took time with. And I was very fortunate, number one, that I have met Aris Servetalis, the gentleman who played the lead role, to play St. Nectarius, because he's somebody who is very dedicated to his faith, is an incredible actor, probably the best actor of his generation, and he had that aura that was necessary to play the saint. Also, I had everybody I've chosen, I believe, has done a remarkable job, and Mickey Rourke as well, because we needed some international actors, as we wanted to do film in English, to have a global distribution, as I always believed that the story of St. Nectarius was a universal story that didn't only apply to only Orthodox Christians. I believe that even people that have no faith, or people that are atheists, could watch a movie and they can learn something from it and find inspiration and have a healing and hope from this film. So yes, Mickey Rourke, again, I went after him. I thought he was that he had the right ingredients to play the part of a paralyzed man, because he's somebody who is an incredible actor, somebody who has struggled a lot in his life, and it shows that he has had a lot of pain. He's somebody, being a great actor, who is not afraid to show that on the screen. And at the same time, he's a very devout believer, regardless of his lifestyle in a way. He really has a lot of faith and has a lot of heart. And after 6 months of diligent work, I was able to get hold of him, and he identified with the role and accepted to play the part. Alexander Petrov was definitely a miraculous encounter, because Alexander Petrov is a superstar in Russia. And as you know, any of these actors, it's very difficult to get hold of them, especially when they have that kind of recognition. And we didn't know anybody in Russia, really. I had the casting director who was Greek, and the only thing he told me was, listen, I can try to get hold of some people, some casting directors in Russia, and let's see what they have to say. And now we're talking about the #1 actor in Russia. So that process could have taken 5 years, but which was incredible as we were talking about it. And I was in the middle of a casting session, and I was casting different roles. This young actor comes in, his name is Demetrius, and my casting director makes a joke, and he says, oh, there is Demetrius for the role. Maybe he knows Sasha Petrov, he goes to Russia all the time. And this gentleman says, Alexander Petrov, the superstar, he says, I know him actually very well. I even have his cell phone number. So we thought he was joking, and actually turned out to be the truth. And to even take it further than this, he has obviously passed on Sasha's information to casting director. Casting director has reached out to Sasha. Sasha has given his manager's phone number, and it turned out that his manager was speaking Greek. And in this very bizarre process, to cut the story short, Sasha had read the script and agreed to play the role. And in a very short period of time, we secured our second lead with a Russian superstar, which we felt was very important, because Russia is one of the largest Orthodox countries. And now we had our international team. We had an American actor, we had a Russian actor, and we had a Greek cast, and we were ready to make hopefully an international movie with the international subject.
What does the life of St. Nectarius teach us today?
I think it teaches us the value of love and forgiveness and humility, something that it's very much needed nowadays. Those are virtues that are necessary for the peace in one's heart and for the peace of this world. And I think that I think we all can agree that we live in times where things are very unpredictable. We don't know where things are going. There's a lot of pain, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear. And what he's teaching us is that if we want to have freedom that we all talk about and we all are yearning for, that freedom only comes from inside. It comes from basically finding it within our heart.